Hello, ladies. My name is Katrina Christine.
Emily
This is
Ann.
Emily Ann. We are from the Posh Beauty Bar. We had originally planned on going live in Rebecca's group, but that was not an option for us. And I didn't want to bother her at work, so we decided to just record a video for you. We're going to post it on the page. I'm going to walk you through a really beautiful, simple fall smoky eye, because that's one of the biggest requests that both her and I get here at the studio. And so I thought I would just show you one on Emily. If you guys have questions when we do post this, just go ahead and put them in the comments section, and either Emily or myself will get back to you with the answers to the questions. So I'm going to get started. She's already got her base makeup on, so we're just going to be focusing on the eyes. And when we are dealing with a true smoky eye, what that means is that it is concentrated pigment all over the lower lid. It's not like light to dark. That's just a shadow look. A true signature smoky eye is that pure concentrated pigment all on the lower lid, kind of smoked out all the way around. So what I like to do when I build these is I actually like to start with a dark concealer first. This is going to help the pigment really show through and be as rich and intense as possible. If you were to put down just like a dark chocolate shadow or a black shadow on a naked lid like this, it's not going to be as dark or as pigmented as if you were layering it on top of something that is already dark. So when I utilize the concealer, this gives that shadow something to stick to and will keep it nice and rich. So I am using the shade Dark Chocolate. This is a very beautiful, creamy, pigmented concealer. It won't crease, it won't budge, and it gives such a lovely base for packing that shadow on. So what I do is I just take a really small, kind of fluffy brush, and I'm pushing this all over her lower lid space. Ooh, this is gonna be so pretty. I'm gonna do this on both lids. I love utilizing concealers instead of shadow primers, especially with a smoky eye, because we are able to start to build the color immediately. Perfect. So I'm going to let that concealer have just a chance to dry down a little bit. And as it does dry down, I'm actually going to work on her transition space just to build that color. And what I like to utilize is a really gorgeous kind of cranberry shade. This is really on trend right now for fall, and it's very flattering on all eye colors, all skin tones. So you really can't go wrong when you're utilizing a beautiful cranberry, mulberry, wine shade. This one that I'm using is actually a blush, and I do like utilizing this for eye looks and face looks because it helps to create a very beautiful, cohesive look. So I'm just popping this in her transition space. So right where the lid connects with that orbital socket, that's where I'm putting this color. And I'm just using a big fluffy brush and using circular motions just to blend and buff this color in. When you do this step second, usually we like to start with the transition color, but what you want to do is put that concealer down first, because as it's still a little bit wet, you're going to be able to get more blending out of it, so that this line that we have here, this beautiful transition, is going to look very, very natural versus choppy. So I'm just going to deepen it just a little bit, because I do want to have a little bit more of that plumminess kind of coming through. Ooh, this is really pretty.
I love this blush color so much.
It's gorgeous.
And using it on the eyes, it is gorgeous.
It's so pretty. And it just really makes the smoky eye so effortless and so easy. That's stunning. Yeah, you want to open your eyes just so they can see where we're kind of headed. Isn't that gorgeous?
Come a little closer.
It's so beautiful.
The beauty of incorporating a bit of color with a smoky eye, I feel like we get so stuck in the rut of like, smoky means black.
Yes.
I have to do black.
Yep.
The best part about a smoky, it's just an application style, so incorporating like an on-trend color like this gives it such a fresh take.
Yes.
And it's so unexpected. I feel like anytime we do this in the boudoir sessions, those are usually the ones that like they love it. They love it. Like a good navy or a green or those burgundies. Oh my gosh. And it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
So pretty. All right, so I'm going to go in with the Supernatural Nudes palette, and I'm actually going to start intensifying that beautiful chocolate shade on her lid. So I'm just going to pick it up with just a smaller shadow brush, still kind of fluffy, because anytime you are working with a matte shade, you do want to have a little bit more of a fluffy brush to work it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to press this all over her lid space, and this is going to essentially sandwich that concealer that we put down first on her eye. And I am pressing this, so you want to make sure that you're pressing it into the lid so that it locks down and you're not swiping that color away. So you can see the difference, how nice and rich this eye is compared to this one. This one's still nice, it's just a little bit softer, but you get so much more intensity and shadow color payoff when you have that beautiful concealer down first. And then just doing the same thing on this lid, pressing that color in. And the nice thing is that because you've already got that transition color built in there, you're just kind of fluffing the shadow into it, and it's just kind of naturally creating that blend on its own. Gorgeous. So then, without even grabbing any extra product, I'm just gonna lightly sweep this transition brush through just to make sure that everything is nice and cohesive. And then just fluff off a little bit of this excess. Gorgeous. So the cool thing when you're working with a smoky eye like this is you do not have to have liner. Like, that's what's so great about it, and that's what makes it so easy to do. You can just throw on a pair of lashes and completely change the look. So I'm going to go in. We've already got these trimmed for Emily's eye. These are the Gabbies. These are a faux mink lash, which means you can get about 25 uses out of this lash. It's a lot, and especially with it only being $22, you really get a lot of bang for your buck.
It's less than $1 a use.
Yep, so I'm just putting this adhesive on the lash band itself, and I'm going to let it sit because you want to make sure that you are allowing that lash adhesive to get nice and tacky. Usually about 30 seconds, sometimes 60, depending on how much adhesive you actually put on that lash band. But if you don't give it enough time to get tacky, it's going to end up sliding all over the eye, and it's probably going to be giving you some issues. Most often, that's usually what I find with clients, is they're not giving that adhesive time to dry, and it's just slipping and sliding everywhere. Yep.
And that's when you start to get frustrated.
Yes.
Tacky glue and the right trim will always help.
Yep. So I'm going to let that dry down for a second. While it is drying down, I am actually going to throw a pop of color in her waterline. Actually going to use this really beautiful emerald shade. Just because we're working with these jewel tones on her eyes, I think this is going to be a really beautiful, interesting pop with her eye color. So I'm just going to throw this right in her waterline. This is such a gorgeous teal blue-green color. This is going to really pull attention. It's going to brighten her eyes and give a lot of beautiful depth and dimension to her eye look. Ooh, that's good.
Ooh,
That is good. I am digging that. All right, I'm going to grab these lashes. She already has a little bit of mascara on, so I'm not going to add any more to it. Normally when I am putting them on, I'll usually throw a coat of mascara on first, and then I will throw the lashes on. Emily's a little bit different in her artistry. She likes to put the lashes on first and then go in with the mascara. There's no right or wrong. Kind of play around and see what feels more comfortable for you. All right, so go ahead and close. So I like to grab these on both ends when I'm working with a client, and I will just kind of walk this lash along their lash line, pressing it into the center, and then pressing it on the outer corner and inner corner, and then making sure that the eye stays closed to allow that adhesive time to set on the lash line. That's also equally as important. I know it might sometimes feel a little bit off or uncomfortable, but if you are blinking, it's actually going to lift the lash a lot quicker because the lash doesn't have enough time to tack and dry down on the lash line itself. Perfect. And then just gonna let this set. So while the adhesive is drying, I'm actually going to work on her lip color. And because I do want to create a really pretty kind of monotone look, I'm going to deepen her blush with that Sherry Kiss that we used on her eye. And then I'm also going to use a really pretty kind of mulberry color on her lip as well. Both are very, very on trend for fall. So you've got those beautiful mulberry wine colors, and then keeping a monotone look where it's the same from the eyes, the cheeks, and the lips is very, very on trend right now. So I am going to grab some of this gloss with a brush. And I'm just going to kind of give her lips a little bit of a wash of this color. You're gonna see I'm not lining her lips because I don't want it to be as structured. I really just want this to more or less be a stain on her lip. And that's why I'm using a brush to give myself a little bit more control with the placement versus just pulling it from the tube or using a wand. I'm gonna have control. I can kind of line out her lip line with it, and just fill in with a wash of this color. Because this one that I'm using right now, it's called Make Mine Merlot. And if you use it right out of the tube, you're gonna get a lot of concentration of color. Whereas if you just use it with a brush, kind of walk it out, you're gonna be able to get more of a wash and a really beautiful stain. So it's not as pigmented. Oh, this is really pretty on you.
That is a good number. Okay. So, what size help are you? 10 10. Okay, the 6. Okay, so 6 by 6. Okay. So,
And a little pro tip. Instead of using a regular lip brush that can be like a rectangle in its shape or a little bit rounded, if you actually use a angled brush, you're actually going to be able to hug this upper part of the lip more precisely because it's already in that shape. So you're gonna get much more of a defined Cupid's bow utilizing an angled brush instead. So with her eyes still closed, I'm just going to take a brush and run it at her lash line just to make sure there isn't any extra glue sitting at the lash line. Because if you have too much glue and you go to open your eyes, you might end up with glue on a different part of your eye. So I like to kind of take a brush and I'll just kind of run it along the lash line to remove any excess glue that might be seeping up, so that I don't have a mess when she opens her eyes. All right, go ahead and open. Gorgeous. So then with her looking forward, I'm just going to take and squish these lashes. When you squish your natural lash with the false lash, it helps to really disperse the weight so that it feels so much more comfortable on the eye. Isn't this pretty? Doesn't she look good, you guys?
It.
I know, it looks so good. So just to finish it up, I'm going to go in with a little bit of that Sherry Kiss blush just to deepen her cheeks a little bit. I'm going to kind of push this at an angle, kind of hugging her cheekbone, pushing it up into her hairline. Oh, it's so good. So good. I love these blushes so much, so much. If you guys have any questions about any of the makeup that we're going to be using for these lives, just shoot us a message and we'll be sure to put a list down for you guys so that you can purchase anything that you want. So just to finish up, I'm gonna go back in with that beautiful chocolate shade And I'm just going to run this underneath her lash line just to intensify the smoke. And then I'm going to blend it out with just a little bit more of that Sherry Kiss, just to really marry those colors. You don't always have to use black. Like Emily said, utilizing those colors instead, where you've got that navy, that wine, that emerald, it's so much more flattering than just black, you know? And you can create so much beautiful richness and depth by layering down a chocolate shade first. It's just a little bit more sultry, in my opinion, a little bit more smoky, and you have such a beautiful richness that you just can't achieve with a black shade. Doesn't she look good?
Ooh.
Like, she looks good.
I need Rebecca to take pictures of me right now.
Right?
We're looking good.
Okay, so that's all we got. I'm gonna go ahead and upload this for you. If you have questions about the look, shoot us a message, drop it in the comments, and we will go ahead and put a link down for you guys as well. So that's what we have for Tutorial Tuesday. We will see you guys next week. So have a great day.
Have a good one.